I found the assessment of Diana Downs to be particularly easy. From all the videos that we watched, everything on the checklist just seemed to be kicked off left and right. From the video that we watched, she was showing all kinds of behavior, like in the scene where she's driving around with her lover in the car, kind of just hanging out, and she's laughing about it afterwards, and her children are freaking out. She also is very promiscuous. She's all over everyone. She was flirting with the cops. She was just attacking everybody left and right with all of her charm and her flirtiness. Her poor behavioral controls as well. She has a horrible time with accepting responsibility. She has a lack of empathy. She has the earlier behavioral issues. She was telling people that her father abused her, and her family was saying that wasn't true, and she finally recanted that, but going around saying that for a while. She was expelled from her college in California for her promiscuous behavior. In the 80s, her daughter Cheryl was telling the neighbors of the grandparents that she was afraid of her mother, and this was just shortly before the murder. So after the shooting, she was telling the cops and hospital workers the story of how a man shot them, and he was trying to hijack their car, and he just shot 3 of her kids before shooting her in the arm. She kept telling the story, and all the evidence was stacking against her, from the bullets found in her apartment matching the ones in the gun, to her claims just not really seeming right, to her behavior. Everyone in the hospital was noticing that she was very upbeat. She was bringing people flowers and candy and laughing and skipping down the hallway. She should have been showing the exact opposite of 2 of her children were in the hospital and one was already dead. She should be showing a lot more remorse, and she wasn't. She was just kind of skipping around. She really just wanted to be with her lover, and since he didn't want kids, she just had to get them out of the way. This really reminded me of Andrea Yates, and while it's different because Yates was more, even though she was denied the defense of psychopathiness, but she still had the urge to kill her children. And while Downs did it to be with a man, Yates did it just because of her postpartum depression and her other mental illnesses. But I did find a lot of correlations between the two, and I'll probably be studying Yates a little bit more for our final. All in all, Diana Downs probably scored really higher on the PCL-R scale than most would, and even though she's a female, I feel like, especially with one of the questions on our exam, it's looked at a little bit differently. You're looking more at her why. Maybe she was abused. Obviously she wasn't, but there are other things that are kind of overlooked as to give females as a little bit more backbone to why they do what they do, and while males are just kind of, they do this because XYZ, and women kind of have a little easier time with that. But I liked the first one that we did was a woman, so we can finally kind of see that correlation between the two.